welcome to Half the Battle. You know, we've had some really positive weeks here, haven't we?
A review of a great comic book issue, a top 5 celebrating the very best the comic had to offer. We've had a lot of good vibes here.
Well, that's all over today, folks, because right now we're taking a look at
the Cyber Viper. And taking a look is all that's required, really.
I mean, do I even have to say anything? Look at it! This could be the easiest episode I've ever done. All I have to do is show you the damn thing and you'll make up your own jokes. I could just sit here, have a nice beer, and let you guys just look at the figure. I could show you footage of another slightly more famous reviewer to get the general point across. I could read a great new novel set in a post-apocalyptic world with zombies and vampires, and just show you pictures of the toy. But I won't, because I have a job to do, and you, the viewer, are entitled to watch me tear this abomination of a toy a new one. So let's begin.
Meet the Cyber Viper. This figure was released in 1993 with all original body parts. Ah yes, 1993, that makes sense, considering it looks like the 90s threw up on it. This thing looks like what would have happened if RoboCop went to clown college instead of the police academy.
What was the production meeting like?
Did somebody ask what the color of this figure should be and the boss just answered, all of them? This figure is just all over the place. I mean, even with other garish colored figures, like say Eco Warriors Flint, there's at least a theme there. This thing makes you think somebody slipped you some LSD. I mean, the neon yellow helmet and glove. Yes, glove, singular. The neon green upper leg and arm, again singular. And some more chest details randomly splattered green.
This figure makes you envy the colorblind.
And even if you take away all the colors, it still looks stupid and overly busy. Also, what's with the hose, I guess, running over the middle of his mouth? Can't be easy to eat with that thing stuck to your face.
By the way, there's nothing to indicate that this guy is a cobra.
He doesn't have a Cobra logo anywhere. Hell, he could be a new version of Sci-Fi or somebody if you didn't know. In fact, if you'd never seen this toy before and you came across it at a flea market or something, would you even think that this was an official G.I.Joe toy? No! You'd assume this was a knockoff or a corpse figure, but not from G.I. Joe. This is, no doubt, one of the worst G.I. Joe figures from the original line. It's the worst type of Viper they've ever made, that's for damn sure.
I'm not even gonna talk about the accessories.
They're just a bunch of reused weapons from previous figures anyway, and a missile launcher. And that was the only toy Cyber Viper ever got. Well, this character anyway. There was a Cyber Viper toy in 2010, a mech driver. He was in the Pursuit of Cobra line, but it had nothing to do with the original, except for the name.
So, why does this bloody thing exist anyway?
Well, to answer that, we have to take a look at the character. Mercifully, the Cyber Viper never appeared in the cartoons or comics.
So all we got to go on is the packaging and the file card. Oh god, the file card!
Dear lord, even the card is a frickin' eyesore. Why did they have to make it neon green? Where did they print this, Chernobyl? Anyway, let's start with the name, Cyber Viper. It has nothing to do with cyberspace. Nowadays, you'd associate the term with the internet. But in 1993, that really wasn't a thing yet. So here, Cyber Viper is just meant to sound generically futuristic. Oh yes, according to the 90s, this is what the future would look like. This.
Okay, so we may not have gotten flying cars, but we sure dodged a bullet there.
The whole card is written in plural, so the codename says Cyber Vipers. Cobra Cybernetic Officers. And they even have a motto. We are Cobra's elite cybernetic organisms, walking computers with bad attitudes.
That's the most 90s motto ever!
Their specialities are cybernetic operations and biointelligence warfare.
And here we get the reason for their existence.
And they are part of the Mega Marines / Mega Monsters subseries. A toy line within G.I. Joe where a small team of Joes fight monsters, using Play-Doh armor.
Yes, it's as stupid as it sounds.
Now, Cyber Vipers are neither Marines nor monsters, Mega or otherwise. No, they had a different function. They assisted Dr. Mindbender in his lab, and more importantly, they kept the monsters under control and guided them to attack the enemy, not run amok as monsters are wont to do. What's weird is that it still says Mega Marines on the packaging, and they even come with the Play-Doh armor that also still says Mega Marines on it, even though they're the bad guys, so it makes no sense. I guess they're part of the toy line, so they get the branding too?
Oh, and while I was kidding about our RoboCop thing,
the card says they are literally half man and half robot. I swear I hadn't read the card before thinking up that gag. I was going purely on visuals. But the card all but admits what inspired this figure. So yeah, if Doink the Clown and RoboCop had a baby, this would be the result. What? It could happen. They were both in wrestling.
No, really, that happened.
And Flair, if you think you're invincible, think it over, Creed.
The card further says they are first-rate fighters with evil brains enhanced by Mindbender.
Evil brains, really?
Everything else is so 90s here, but that is straight out of a 50s sci-fi movie.
I will give this card one bit of credit. The ending text is friggin' awesome.
They are the guardians of monsters, the overseers of doom. That's a great and dramatic description. Too bad it describes this piece of crap figure. And that's the only nice thing I have to say about this character. The last line of the file card is excellent. Literally everything else about the Cyber Viper sucks. Finally, I was sorta lying when I said the file card was the only other media the Cyber Viper appeared in.
They were seen in two other things.
First, they appeared in the Mega Marines commercial right here.
There, did you enjoy that? Could you even spot him at all? Let me help you.
Look, here he is, for a split second. Wow, that was so worth it. Strangely enough, this appearance warranted a collectible trading card, the only other appearance of the character. It looks like a low-grade generic cosplay, but it still looks better than the damn toy, by virtue of looking nothing like it. And that was the Cyber Viper, one of the worst figures in the original line, and the worst type of Viper ever created. And that's a real shame, because the character is an interesting one, if a bit derivative. But there's no getting around the sheer awfulness of the toy.
Ugh. I hope the next toy that I review is better, because otherwise I might just go crazy.
And now for something completely different.
Hey, I wasn't kidding when I said that this was a great book.
The Company of Death is set in a post-zombie apocalypse world and has vampires, androids, and also zombies, duh. I read it all the way through in one go, and if this is a genre that might interest you, I really recommend you pick this up.
I'm not being paid to say this, by the way. I'm doing it because I really enjoyed reading this thing, and the author is a fellow YouTuber who I've enjoyed for many years.
Full disclosure though, this book is very much the first part of a trilogy, and the ending reflects that.
Oh, it has an ending, and a very climactic one at that, but it's definitely not the end of the story.
It feels more like the end of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, than Star Wars A New Hope, if I were to compare it to first parts of trilogies, meaning that Star Wars was much more self-contained than Fellowship. But when it comes to this book, it really didn't matter to me, as I can't wait for the next book to be written. I just hope the author doesn't turn into another George R.R. Martin or Patrick Rothfuss, where we end up waiting forever for the next book. Though, turning the Company of Death into an HBO series?
Yeah, I'd be up for that. In fact, I could play a zombie. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?